Gemini, they can't believe what a tarot reader told them about you. So somebody in your energy recently had a tarot reading. They might have stumbled across one online, like on YouTube or something. Maybe a friend of theirs dragged them to a psychic fair or something like that. But I'm just getting that this person went to a psychic, or they might have booked a private reading. But maybe they were just curious. They were thinking, oh, this is going to be fun. But they did not expect anything really all that life-changing. And I think, too, at first, this person was really skeptical. And they were like, oh, well, let's see what this psychic has to say. I'm seeing the tarot reader smiling and sitting down with them, or if they actually went to one in person. And they're like, somebody's coming into your life that is going to completely change the way you see love. And this person is laughing about that. They're like, yeah, okay. And the reader's like, no, 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 I am serious. And this person, they're like, okay, keep talking. And then the psychic was like, okay, this person isn't like anybody you've dated before. This is not your usual type. They're confident, but they don't need attention. They have this calming presence about them. And of course, they're talking about you. They're when they walk into a room, people notice them. They're attractive. But that's actually the least interesting thing that the psychic or tarot reader told them, because I'm seeing your person kind of shifting in the chair. They're thinking, oh, that's oddly specific. And then this tarot reader is like, oh, they have beautiful eyes. They just smile with their whole entire face. They have the kind of laugh that you can just replay in your head. They're very intuitive. They'll somehow know what you're thinking before you say it. At this point, I see your person, they're not smiling anymore. They're like, okay, I'm listening. I'm paying attention. And then the tarot reader says something that kind of blows their mind, and it catches them off guard. They're like, okay, they're going to make you nervous. And then your person laughs, and they're like, me nervous? And then I'm seeing this play out. I'm like, and then this person's like, no. And then the psychic's like, yes. And then this person's like, no, I'm the calm one. I don't get nervous. And then the reader's just smiling, and they're like, well, you will, because this person, meaning you, is not going to chase them, okay? You're not going to throw yourself at them, and you're not going to play games because you're not a game player. And you're simply just going to show up and be your beautiful self. And somehow that's going to completely throw them off balance. The reader is telling them too that you're very independent, and that you have your own life, and you don't like to be told what to do or how to live your life, and that you're not waiting around for somebody to completely complete you, because you're already complete and you already know who you are. And your person is going quiet deep down. They're realizing ah, yeah, those are exactly the kinds of people that they've always admired. And they the reader kind of flip a card, and they're like, oh, and their eyebrows go up, and they're like, oh, wow, I was not expecting that. Your person immediately says, what? And then I'm seeing that this person is surprised your person. They're like, what does that? And the reader is smiling, and they're like, well, this person is going to be so addictive. You're going to become addicted to this person. And this person, they're laughing nervously. They're like, oh, come on. Nobody has that kind of effect on me. And then I'm seeing like the reader kind of like shrugging, being like, but yeah, the cards disagree. And she's, or I don't know if it's a girl or woman, but this reader is like, all of these just fell onto the floor. So I'm excited to see like what they are, but they're all mixed around now. But yeah, like as I was picking these up, I kept seeing the scene, and I'm seeing like this tarot reader telling your person like, oh yeah, they're extremely attractive. I dropped them again. And your person like mentally like flipping through mental notes in their head through like everybody they've ever met. And they're like, nope, not them. Nope, not them. And then they're like, definitely not. And then the reader is like smiling because like they can literally see what's happening, but like you haven't met them yet, or like you've already met them, but you haven't realized who they are. And that statement sticks with them for like days, because now like every person that they meet, they're wondering, they're like, is this them? Every single conversation that they have, they're like, could this be the person? Or like they get a notification on their phone and they're like, oh, I wonder. You tell it like it is. Yeah. They love your just tell it like it is personality. I'm telling you, they love it. They love it. And so, or they're going to like it though. So the tarot reader is telling them that you have a tell it like it is personality. And they're like getting excited about this. What else? You also are the kind of person that like you'll do whatever it takes. And you are like heaven on earth. You are a little extroverted, but also introverted. You're blunt and intense. But this person's like their interest is piqued. You know, you heal others. You're very healing and feel safe with you. So people feel safe with you. You're a natural beauty. And it says, I realize that I don't want to live without you. And then also we have, you are smart. So this tarot reader is telling your person that you are very smart. So these are just things that they're like, oh my gosh. So that now they're thinking the wheels are turning in their head. So they're thinking and they're like, who is this person? And Spirit says something funny happened after this reading. They tried to forget about it. They tried to like push it down, but it's really hard to ignore, like trying to move on with life until they saw you. And in that exact moment, that whole reading came rushing back into their mind, and almost word for word, they literally got chills. They stopped what they were doing, and their brains started like connecting the dots. Yes. And they're like, wait, the tarot reader said no. Oh my gosh. They're like, oh my gosh, there's no way. They can't believe it. And then like another detail like hits them, and they're like, oh my gosh. They're like, oh, the reader also said this, that you would recognize them, because talking to them will feel strangely easy, and it'll feel like you've known them longer than you actually have. They'll somehow make you feel comfortable. And at the same time, they're going to make your heart race. And now they're really starting to panic, because that's exactly what's happening with you. So Spirit is saying like they walked away from that interaction with you thinking, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely not telling anybody about this, because imagine trying to explain that. Yeah. A tarot reader told me I was going to meet someone, and then I actually meet them. They're like, what the hell? Like, I'm hearing nobody would believe me. So instead, like, they're keeping it to themselves. Okay? But every time they see you, it's like another piece of that reading comes true, and they're just like, their mind is blown, and they're starting to wonder, like, was the tarot reader actually right about everything? I'm seeing like the tarot reader gathering the cards Then they laid out like another spread, and then I'm seeing like their whole expression just kind of changed. And this is like a flashback. They leaned forward and they're like, this connection is not random. And your person immediately asked, "What do you mean?" And then the reader was like, well, this isn't somebody you're just meant to date for a little while. This person is here to change your life. And now your person is like trying to play it cool. They're thinking, okay, that's a little weird. That's a little dramatic, don't you think? But at the same time, they cannot stop listening. So I'm seeing this whole thing play out where they're like, okay, you got my attention, but it's like they can't stop listening to this tarot reader. Every single thing that this tarot reader has told them in the past seems oddly specific and so accurate. And then I'm like hearing like the reader say like something that totally catches this person off guard. They're like, okay, they're going to make you want to be a better person, a better version of yourself. Spirit says this person wasn't expecting that feeling at all. And usually they're comfortable where they're at. Like usually they're comfortable staying exactly where they were, putting things off, making excuses, settling. Okay, settling. But after crossing paths with you now, they've started thinking differently. They're like, oh, maybe I should work out more. Maybe I should save my money, or like, oh, maybe I should do something, with my time that's more interesting so I can like be a more interesting person or expand my horizons, or like maybe I should stop wasting so much time, So they're almost like kind of annoyed about it because they know where it's coming from. You and the tarot reader smiles and they're like, oh, there's another message. Your person is like asking them like, what? And then like the reader is like laughing and they're like, okay, they're going to accidentally distract you. And then I'm seeing like your person be like, what? And the tarot reader is like, well, you're going to be trying to work and you're going to start thinking about them all the time, or you're going to be watching a movie and you're going to be wondering what movie would they have picked, or like, what would it be like to have them or you're going to hear a song and you're immediately going to think of this person and your person is like laughing and they're like, that's ridiculous. And Spirit says about 2 weeks later, guess what happens in the car? And for no specific reason, your face pops into their head and they're actually shaking their head like, oh my gosh, that tarot reader was right. They're like, seriously. And Spirit is saying they actually got irritated a little bit with themselves, with how much they were focused on you. And they're like, okay, can I focus, please? And the answer is no, apparently, because I'm seeing like this tarot reader says like one like final prediction to this person. They're like, okay, this person is going to make you feel so safe that you will feel like you can actually be yourself. And it may not sound all that dramatic, but like to your person, it kind of was in that moment because they're like, well, I don't usually let people see the real me. Very often they're used to wearing a mask, like a social mask. They just kind of present that way, like how they think that they should show up, or like acting tougher than they really feel, keeping their emotions kind of under lock and key. But yet around you, those walls, it's like those walls don't feel as necessary. And that honestly does scare them a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, like Spirit is saying like one evening they kind of found themselves like looking at one of your pictures. It could have been a profile picture or some picture they have of you. It could have even been like a photo of you that somebody tagged. Or they just came across it and then they're like kind of zooming in on it and like laughing to themselves and they're like, what am I doing? And then they like close the app, of course, open it again. It's like they've kind of been doing this for a while. They would never admit this to anybody, okay? But they started noticing all the smallest little details, and then something so funny happened because like they're talking to a friend and seeing them like talking to a friend, and then your name comes up and their friend's like, oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Before their friend can even finish, your person is already smiling. They're trying not to smile too, but they're smiling anyway. And their friends like notice and they're like, oh, okay, you like them. And then they immediately deny it. They're like, what? No, 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 we're just friends or whatever. Like, I barely know them. Or I was just smiling. It's like they don't want to get picked on. And then I'm saying like their friend like raises an eyebrow like that. And Spirit is saying like they kind of lose the argument right away because it's like that little grin on their face. It's giving everything away. It's like they kind of like, they're like remembering back to like what the tarot reader said, like, oh, they're going to make you smile when nobody's around. And they're like, oh, that tarot reader was right. Sure enough, there they are doing whatever they're doing around their house, and they're just standing there. They feel like they're looking like a fool because they're just thinking of you. They're thinking of you all the time. And it's like somehow they've just started a replay, all these different things, all these different moments. And they're like, oh my gosh. Spirit is saying like they never expected a tarot reading to stick with them this long. They thought they would have forgotten it by now, maybe even the next day, like, oh, it wouldn't be that much. It wouldn't be that meaningful. But it's like it is really stuck with them because every time something else from that reading happens, they're like, oh my gosh, that's just another thing, like kinky dinks, you know, coincidences piling up and up and up. And that's another thing the tarot reader got right because, you know, to the tarot reader said, like, you will see signs and stuff like that. And like their skepticism is turning into like curiosity. I will say like I'm hearing like I'm a believer. There was one prediction in this reading that was like one sentence, and I feel like your person like laughed at it harder than anything else. So I'm seeing this tarot where they're like they're looking back and they're saying you're going to fall so much harder than they do. Your person almost burst out laughing so hard, and they were like in disbelief for like, no way. I'm always the one with my feet planted firmly in the ground. I don't just fall for people just like that. I don't catch feelings that fast. You? No, I know how to stay logical. And this tarot reader is like, well, we'll see. Because according to these cards, you know, this is what I'm seeing. And Spirit says, those words have been like circulating in their head now. They're starting to realize like the reader was right. This person is noticing they are, doing stuff they never used to do, checking to see if you posted something new, wondering how your day is going, wanting to reach out to you, all throughout the day, but not wanting to look too needy or like, you know, desperate because they fear that. But they're wondering like what you're up to, what are your weekend plans? And they're like shaking their head. They're like, no, what am I doing? What am I doing? I never do this. This is not me. Well, the reader also told them that something they didn't fully understand at the time, that they were going to, that you were going to feel very familiar because your soul will recognize their soul, and so on and so forth. And Spirit is saying that's exactly what happened too. So these are all the moments that are piling up that, you feel, that you would feel. This tarot reader said you would feel strangely comfortable. It would be natural. It would be easy to fall in love with you. And this person can't believe it. They can't believe it. They can't even explain it logically. They just almost feel like they were kind of in the right place at the right time when they got this tarot reading, and they can't believe it. And then I'm seeing this tarot reader, seeing this crystal ball, this tarot reader, and they're I have one final message for you. And they were don't let fear convince you to miss this opportunity, because you don't want to miss this one. Because if you overthink, you're going to wonder if you're good enough for this person. You're going to wonder if they could possibly feel the same for you. So don't overthink it, or you're going to regret it. And Spirit says that message is becoming so loud in their head. They're oh my gosh. So they're kind of feeling oh my gosh, I don't want to blow this. Yeah. What else? Spirit, the tarot reader, told them that you have a heart of gold. You're a good person, so don't let it go to waste. You are very approachable. You're not intimidating. You are a genuine person. You're grounded. You're confident. You're somebody who knows your worth. And you know what? This person is yeah, that inspires me to want to take action. It inspires them. It really does. You make them want to be like you. You make them want to show up as their best self. So it's they're at a crossroads. I'm seeing them standing at a crossroads, and they're wondering. They're okay. They're replaying the readings. Maybe this was a recorded reading or something like that. Or could have been, I said, one on YouTube, and they're rewatching it and they're wow, can I actually take a step towards you? That's what they're thinking about you. They're can I actually do this? They're not running away though. So that's reassuring. It says, I appreciate you. So this person, they appreciate the hell out of you. And they just know there's a lot writing on this. It says, we look beautiful together. And they know that. They know that you two would be perfect together. And not only that, you're perfect. You look beautiful together, but also there's so much more to that. And so they're thinking, oh my gosh, maybe this tarot reader really did see something. Is this, yeah. They're oh my gosh, this tarot reader really did see something. This person, the tarot reader, told them that you will give them strength. And if you are claiming this reading, or if you know in your heart that this is true, definitely put a heart emoji in the comments and say, this is my reading. Okay, then that way I will know that this has reached the right person, says I can't let go, and this person, they can't let go, and they won't let go because they know there's a lot riding on this. Let's get some confirmation. So we have 8, 7, 5, and 3. So a March birthday, a May birthday, a July birthday, and an August birthday. Or somebody could have been born on the 7th, 3rd, 8th, or 5th of any month for a birthday. We have Leo, double Leo, Sagittarius, and Sagittarius. So 2 Sagittariuses and 2 Leo's sun, moon, or ascendant. We have Aries and Aquarius. So that could be you or them, sun, moon, or ascendant. Okay. Let's get some of these charms. So somebody could be a Cancer sign. Somebody could love music. Or you two could connect through music. or they could be a musician. We have an Aries. That's like a double confirmation on the Aries. We have hope, sassy. Okay, maybe you're sassy and they like your sassiness. We have fertility. So it's like the two of you have the potential to build together. And then it says purple power, wealth, and majesty. So this person, they could be very, very wealthy, or you make them want to like be at their B on top of their A game, you know? So that's what I'm getting. I hope this reading resonated with you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And yeah, become part of this amazing community, as I would love to have you be part of this community. And if you already are, sending you so much love, light, and positivity your way. You're awesome. I hope you take good care. If you need a personal reading, feel free to reach out to me. You can find my information down below in the description box. And if you would like to support the channel through donations or becoming a channel member, you can find more information down below in the description box below on how to do that. And it's never expected, but always appreciated. And if you would like to go ahead and check me out at my other YouTube channel, I do daily readings over there as well. So there's a link down in the description box below that'll take you right on over there. Check it out. And if you like it over there, I would love to have you subscribe over there too. And I can't wait to see what Spirit brings in for you next time. Bye.